Nerdy Sports Fan here with your pre-game breakdown for the Sunday games. We're leading things off with the Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, neither team's really that exciting at this point in the season, but there's still some takeaways, at least from a fantasy football perspective, to think about. Leonard Fournette is back in the mix. Now, the Bills have a great defense. They're second in the league in yards allowed, actually. First against the pass is the thing to think about here. They're not that great against the run. Leonard Fournette is going to have himself a game for the usual reasons. One, nobody can defend him well, and two, they really don't throw the ball at all when he's healthy. And would you? I mean, Blake Bortles? Come on. He's the only fantasy person really worth it on the Jacksonville side, though. Jacksonville's defense does not deserve how bad this offense is. Their defense is good. Very good. And I want to say they're fourth in the league right now in yards allowed. But their offense can't stay on the field, or at least hasn't been able to with Fournette injured. So you're rolling the dice if you're putting their defense out there in this game. We've only had one good outing with Fournette healthy, so want to see if they're good in this game as well before you start making a habit of starting Jacksonville's defense. Now, that said, Calais Campbell and the rest of that defensive line are going up against what was a relatively weak offensive line, much like them until last week. Bills made some changes on the offensive front, so maybe they're going up against an offensive line that's pretty weak. Maybe not. Who knows? On the other side of things, the Bills are making a lot of changes to their personnel late in the season. They've jettisoned some offensive linemen, like I mentioned earlier. They're cutting back on the snaps for Kelvin Benjamin, who has turned into a shadow of his former self. And they've promoted and signed very, very, very fast wide receivers into the starting rotation. They've added Thompson, who was with the team last year. They actually were trying to reach a free agent agreement in the offseason, but that didn't really work out. But he's back, so he's got some knowledge of what's going on with the team. And they signed Isaiah McKenzie from the Broncos and brought up Robert Foster from the practice squad. So a lot of speed all of a sudden on that offense. And with Josh Allen now coming healthy, they might be able to utilize it. I've said in the past, especially when talking about the Falcons, that I don't understand why a lot of teams haven't made a more definite shift towards the college-style offense that seems to be working so well for the Rams and the Chiefs. We'll see if that's the direction that the Bills are going. They've obviously added a lot of speed to the front. They've changed the offensive line. And they have a quarterback who's really recently been in college. And an offensive coordinator that's really recently been in college. So maybe that's where they're going. That being said, as far as fantasy football goes, all of these changes affect nobody more than LeSean McCoy. McCoy actually looked like himself last week. He was a force. He was running, he was receiving, he got in the end zone a few times. McCoy owners that held out this long, I mean, you couldn't be happier, right? The guy's actually worth it at this point in the season now. So, for McCoy owners' sake, I hope the Bills' offense has actually found a groove with all the changes that they made last week. I'm not sure that's going to be the case, though, because Josh Allen is still a very inexperienced quarterback, and he wasn't running the team last week when they looked good. Matt Barkley was. That sounds so weird. Matt Barkley did good. Either way, the running backs are the main features here. Both defenses are very strong, but they get scored on a lot. Going against one another, it's going to be kind of weird. I would probably start the Bills' defense over the Jaguars' defense in this game, but neither one is a very tempting option. Start Fournette, start McCoy, leave the rest on the bench for at least another game until we figure these teams out.